strapped in tight, ready, V8 symphony humming, tires screeching, engine screaming, speed demons coming. Gasoline guzzling, straight moving, track bruising, in the premium stock car, never losing. Pit crew wizards, quick as wizards, slick precision. Seconds matter, clock ticking, tight decisions. Drafting close, slingshot ghost, high speed ballet. Sipping victory, toasted champ, champagne spray. Fast lanes, checkered flags, racing through the turns. Pedal to the metal, feel the rubber burn. Crowd roars, engine soar, high stakes, high gear. Champions breathe and destiny's near. Grid start, hearts pound seconds before eruption. Adrenaline and steel, the perfect conjunction. Lap after lap, sweat drips, visor fogging. Fame and glory wait for no one's dogging. Tunnel vision, apex hunting, blind to the herd. Opponents tailgating, pace firing absurd. Finally tuned monster, horsepower excel. Steering wheels grip like the gates to hell. Fast lanes, checkered flags, racing through the turns. Pedal to the metal, feel the rubber burn. Crowd roars, engine soar, high stakes, high gear. Champions breathe and destiny's near.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here with the Premium Stock Car Racing League live from Pocono Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as Aaron Robinson over there on YouTube says, "What's up, everyone? What's up? Hey, Rod, what's good, brother? How are you this afternoon?" As Noah at NJB Design says, gas prices, oh, baby, I don't know. Up here in Canada, it's like $1.13, $1.14 a liter. So I mean, multiply that by 4 for a U.S. gallon. We're looking at like I don't know, $4.50, something like that, somewhere around there, something like that for Canadian gas prices up here. I mean, it's not bad, not great, not awful. As Michael coming in showing the love says hi over there on YouTube. Hey, how are you, Michael? How you doing this afternoon? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day as the racing action about to come right at you here from Pocono Speedway, as it is the Tricky Triangle here this evening. The Tricky Triangle, the Tricky racetrack here in the upstate Pennsylvania area. Actually, I don't know, is it Pennsylvania or is this in New York State? I'm not 100% sure. You guys may have to let me know in the comment section as we get ready to rumble. We get ready to duke it out here in this one. Each and every one of these drivers is going to be looking to try to put themselves up and in to victory lane here this afternoon. It's going to be a lot of non-stop action out there on the racetrack, door to door, and a little bit of 2 wide, 3 wide, even 4, 5, 6 wide down these straightaways here. Big, long straightaways, big, long sweeping corners, except for that second corner, the tunnel turn. It could be a very treacherous position out there on the speedway. As Noah Robinson says, Noah, I'm praying on your downfall, man. Oh gosh, Aaron's praying on the downfall there of the NJB Designs ride there. That Noah out there on the racetrack. Those are some tough words right there. Those are some tough words right there. Praying for his downfall. Oh, brother. Let's go. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. Noah, you're going down, brother. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so we do see that the practice session has come to a close. That means we're going to get ready here for qualifying this afternoon. His driver is going to jump out there onto the racetrack. They're going to try to lay down their best lap times on the speedway. Each and every one of them going to be looking to try to set a quick time here tonight and trying to get themselves off to a great start on the afternoon as we do see this 0-0 ride. That's Michael Durham Jr. jumping out there onto the racetrack. Here comes Trent Johns in the Interstate Batteries, number 28. He slides out there. Here comes Wyatt Mickelson in that HendrickCars.com number 10 ride, looking to lay down a great lap time. Same with Noah Blackwell in that Bad Dragon number 18 as he jumps out there as well in that NJB Designs ride. Here comes Brian Underwood, the Dads for Life Kroger number 6 ride out there on the speedway. He's there as well as Aaron Robinson says just motivation to hopefully get cheaper paints. Hey, you know what? I'm all for it. 100%. Cheaper paints for everybody, okay? That's what America's made on, is cheap paints for all these drivers out there. As you do see this 20 right at Aiden Lucas. Aiden looking to try to find victory lane here again this afternoon, looking to try to get that hot streak back up and running, see if he can try to string together 4 more wins in a row out there on the speedway. Jonathan Gaston in the Gaston's iRacing Graphics Old Dogs number 72 ride. He slides out there onto the speedways. Everyone basically getting through the start-finish line here, just kind of getting their laps started, as it takes a long ways around this racetrack to get rolling here, especially coming from down pit road. It takes you quite a bit to kind of get your car, launched out there, up through the gears, up the speed, and then all the way around this tricky triangle. I don't even know how big this racetrack is, but it is massive. It is a big racetrack, and for 80 laps of racing action here this evening, it's going to be non-stop back and forth out there on the speedway. Now, we do have stage breaks here this afternoon as well, so we will see some drivers, some different strategies being played here for each and every one of these, drivers out there, man. Everyone's going to be looking to try to put themselves into a solid position, a solid area out there on the speedways. Lap 20 in lap 40 are our stage breaks here this afternoon. So virtually, a 20-lap run, another 20-lap run, and then 40-lap run to finish off this afternoon. Finally, we see some caution flags out there on the speedway, and I got a sneaky suspicion we may be seeing a few yellow flags here this afternoon. As right now, Landon Burbage, with the quick time here in qualifying in that Princess Towing number 2 ride. Jordan Hand going to jump into that second spot as Brian Underwood sits in position number 3. Wyatt Mickelson back in 4th with Melvin Brangruer up into 5th. Danny White there in 6th with Noah Blackwell, William Connolly, Ben Gleason, and Trent Johns rounding out our top 10. Farrell Robbins, he's back in 11th with Logan Perriman there in 12th. Michael Durham Jr. back in 13th with Aiden Lucas currently sitting in 14th here in this qualifying session, so not a great lap time there for the 20 round. We'll see if he can find a little extra speed here on lap number 2 as Michael Ponder Jr. there in 15th, Jordan Crider, Jonathan Gaston there in 17th, Applegate just getting out there onto the racetrack here. We'll see him go down across the line, see where he can slide up the leaderboard here, or if he's just getting his lap time started. Looks like he's just getting that lap started out there on the racetrack. Still waiting for potentially Nathan Brookover, Ryan Haller the qualifier, Josh Crider. I'm not sure if we're going to see Josh out there on the speedway or not, as Aaron Robinson says, what is the pole position lap time? Hate the fact I can't run tonight. Oh, brother, that is a tough one. Right now, the quick time here in qualifying still belongs to Landon Burbage here. So Burbage still with the quick time out there on the speedway, ran a 54.46. A 54.46. Melvin Brangruer now into second. He ran a 54.50. Jordan Hand a 54.53. Then it goes down to a 55.63, 65.66. It's going to be tight racing all around the speedway, man. A lot of guys all right there on top of each other with times out there on the speedway. Not a whole lot of variation, and pretty much everyone inside our top 12 out there on the racetrack, all within, less than half a second between each other. So we're going to see a lot of different variations. We did see Grant Applegate jump up inside the top 5 there. So Applegate now into 5th, jumps right in between a couple of his teammates. There is Jordan Hand in 3rd. Brian Underwood there in 4th. He slides into the middle between Underwood and his other teammate, Aiden Lucas, as Aiden rolls there in position number 6 on the racetrack here. So looking like the Redemption Motorsports crew trying to get together, trying to get another big run, seeing if they can come home with another crazy finish, maybe another 1, 2, 3, 4 out there on the speedways. There we go. Qualifying going to come to a close here in this one as Aaron Robinson says, would have been right in the mix. Brother, I know, you would have been right there, my boy. You would have been right there, right in contention here all afternoon, and would have been a fierce competitor out there on the speedway, and a handful for a lot of these drivers inside our top 10, top 12, and top 5 potentially all evening long. And sucks that you're not out there on the racetrack, but we're glad to have you up here in the comments section cheering these drivers on and enjoying the racing action here nonetheless. Qualifying coming to a close here. We're going to get our national anthem here quickly. Or actually, let's jump in and do our, fire them up here. Let's do a little quick, now we can jump over there. Yeah, let's do our opening command here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna jump in with Lonnie Crider. Here is Lonnie Crider going to give us our opening command here this afternoon. We'll get Lonnie up here into the stream as we'll get Lonnie ready to rock and roll here. We're gonna have to try to quickly do this and slide this down. And there's Lonnie. Let's get him big screen here. All right.
Thank you very much. Another good night of racing coming up. Tonight, though, we'd like to put prayers out for all the people that's been in the tornadoes and also all the flood victims from all over the states that's having flood and damage to their houses and everything. And we just like to pray for them tonight that they have their safety in their homes. I also like to thank all our sponsors that helps us out on this program, each and every one of you. We thank you so much for everything that you do for us. Once again, we thank God for another wonderful day. He's always with us and he's always beside us. So gentlemen, have a good race tonight. Be kind to one another, and thank God we're all still alive and living and going every day. Start those engines and let's go racing.
All righty, shout out right there. Lonnie Crider coming in, giving us those opening invocations here this afternoon as we'll get ready to go to battle. We'll get ready to duke it out as drivers getting lined up here on the front straightaway. We'll get ready to go to battle as, oh, my boy, Texas Calva in the chat over there on YouTube. Texas Calva says, let's go. He is pumped up. He is absolutely thrilled to see his powerhouse teammate there in position number 1 on the racetrack is Powerhouse Motorsports. In that number 2 rider, Landon Burbage in that pole position here in this one. So the Powerhouse number 2 ride will start from the top spot here this evening. To his outside will be the 89 of Melvin Brangruer. Starting in position number 3, this is where we start to see those Redemption Motorsports rides. It's Jordan Hand in third, the 6th ride of Brian Underwood in position number 4. Then we see that 57 of Grant Applegate in the 20 ride of Aiden Lucas, rounding out those 4 Redemption Motorsports rides up inside the top 6 to start this afternoon. Wyatt Mickelson down there in position number 7 with Danny White to his outside. Danny will start there in the 8th spot here this afternoon. William Connolly in position number 9, and Logan Perryman in the PBR number 88 ride will round out our top 10 here this afternoon. Starting in position number 11 in the number 18 machine, that is Noah Blackwell. Blackwell will start there in 11th with Ben Gleason to his outside. And then we see the 28 ride. It's Trent Johns there in 13th. The 00 of Michael Durham Jr. in the 3M00 ride will start there in 14th. Starting in the 15th position in the 76 is the Old Dogs Racing. Gaston's iRacing paints number 76 ride. That is Farrell Robbins there in 15th. Michael Ponder there in 16th. Jonathan Gaston himself there in that Gaston's iRacing Graphic 72 ride will roll there in 17th. Bringing up the rear of the field in the Autodesk number 99 ride. That is Ryan Haller. Is unfortunately Josh Crider, Jordan Crider, Matthew Wood, and Nathan Brookover not out there on the racetrack here to start this feature event. It's down the front straightaway here at the Tricky Triangle. We'll end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here at Pocono Speedway. Already you see him shuffling around, drivers trying to find that groove, trying to find a lane to maybe jump down low, maybe trying to make it 2 wide, 3 wide, maybe a little 4 wide out there on the speedway. And some great action here to start this afternoon as the 2 ride leads us down out of that first quarter, but now you start to see that little bit of a draft as the 11 ride reels him in, gets a big run down to the inside. He's going to have that preferred line here through the tunnel turn. The tunnel turn here at Pocono Speedway, turn 2. Out there on the racetrack now, we're going to see a lot of drivers just like the 25 rider, William Connolly, who just got very loose on quarter exit right there. The car's got to go over the track entry point there. There's a tunnel there. That's why they call it the tunnel turn. You go underneath of it, but really on the racetrack, it kind of has a little bit of a weird feel to it. There's a couple different bumps. The cars can get very, very loose, and you can run in. There's some major problems in a quick hurry as out in front, leading lap number 1 here at Pocono. It's Jordan Hand. It will lead that first lap this afternoon as the Powerhouse Motorsports number 2 ride of Landon Burbage. Burbage rolls there in second. Grant Applegate there in third. Aiden Lucas in position number 4, and it's Brian Underwood rounding out our top 5 as you do see Danny White there in 6th, Wyatt Mickelson back in 7th. Then we see Logan Perriman, Noah Blackwell, and Ben Gleason rounding out our top 10 on the speedways. Unfortunately, Connolly sliding back early on in this race in the 89 ride of Melvin Brenger. Melvin, unfortunately, there in that Thrustmasters NJB Designs number 89 ride, all the way back into the 16th position here. Start on the outside of the front row and quickly fall into the back of the pack as there goes the 89 down to the infield here. He's going to come down pit side. Now, I'm not sure if this was a penalty that he received from last week or a couple weeks prior, but nonetheless, the 89 ride early on down pit road, and this is not a good place to be here out there on the speedway. Luckily enough, this is such a big racetrack, such a long speedway that you can make a pass-through penalty and really still survive here at Pocono. As there you go, you're going to see him go right through the pits. He's going to make that pit stop. He knows he's probably not going to get stage points or anything else, so just trying to take care of that car. Went to the back of the pack before making that pass-through penalty, and now sits back in the last position on the speedway. But luckily enough, he still has quite a bit of a gap as he rolls down through quarter 1 and 2. Our race leader just rolling through quarter 3, and what turn 4? There's no turn 4 here. No fourth quarter, as it is a triangle, the tricky triangle here this afternoon, and we get a great look here at the track map right here, and this will give you a good look at it. That is how the track is made. That big pack there, all those drivers bunched together down into quarter number 1. You see that number 89 ride. He is just out of quarter number 2, heading down like the second back straightaway here, down into quarter number 3 right now as they head down the first back straightaway here at Pocono Speedway, down into quarter number 2 here for our race leaders, down across that tunnel turn, and out in front, that 11 ride continue to lead the way. Some great racing as he's about half a track ahead of these guys right now. So for that 89 ride, no risk really of potentially going a lap down, and that's exactly what we were talking about. It will just survive out there on the speedway and hope to see maybe a caution flag or the stage break, and there is the yellow flag. Caution flag early on here in this one. Here is that yellow flag coming out as the yellow flag jumping out here. It looked like a couple issues here down out at quarter number 2. I'm not sure if Noah gets loose here in this 18 ride. He's pushing up the racetrack, does get a little loose. Unfortunately, comes down the speedway into the 28 ride a couple times, and then the 28 just gonna come back up the racetrack there. Now, I don't know if that was payback or if that was just maybe some damage to the front end of this number 28 machine or not. Let's take a look at it here as he's going to get a great look at it. Actually gives the shot to the 18 ride of Noah Blackwell. Right here, gives the contact right there. That's what gets Blackwell loose and losing control right there. And unfortunately still losing that rear end. Comes down into the 28. He's able to kind of get back going here, and unfortunately, the 28 ride goes down towards the apron. Now he's trying to get back onto the racetrack, and unfortunately maybe just coming up a little too quick and ends up just getting into that left rear quarter panel here of the 18 machine, and unfortunately turns right into it and gets him turned around. And unfortunately there goes that bad dragon ride around, and I don't know about that one. There's some good contact right there. Some pretty heavy damage for both of these drivers, and definitely some good damage right out of the get-go. The big hit down the, he's on his back bumper. He's pushing him. He's doing what he's supposed to do, trying to battle here. He's door-to-door with that 00 ride, and ends up getting into the 00, then gets into the 18, gives him a shot. That's where you see Noah get loose. The car still going around here. The rear end is knocked out, and then they bounce off each other a couple times. The 28 comes back up the racetrack into that left rear quarter panel, turns him around, and unfortunately going to collect a couple more drivers there as well as Farrell Robbins. He gets tied up in this one. Him and the 99, Ryan Haller. You'll see that 25 right Connolly. Connolly's got nowhere to go. He gets a little bit of damage out of that as well as the 28 keeps coming up the racetrack. The 76 trying to avoid him. Unfortunately, doesn't realize that Haller was there to his outside. Just, unfortunate contact there between the two of them. And then Ryan Haller, he's trying to get checked up here to avoid that 76. Sees him coming back down the racetrack. They're going to end up getting together again. Shoots him back down the racetrack. Nowhere to go for Connolly. And the carnage just continues down the back straightaway into quarter number 3. And a bunch of tore up race cars. A lot of bent up sheet metal here early on in this race as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to try this all over again. So for some drivers, definitely a little bit of a gamble here. We did see Grant Applegate go down pit road. Same with Jonathan Gaston, Melvin Branguer. He definitely wanted to see that caution flag as he was able to serve that pass-through penalty. Now rejoin the lead pack and see if he can maybe try to salvage a little something here. Maybe race his way inside the top 10 and still get some stage points here in this first stage as Connolly down pit road getting repairs. Same with Farrell Robbins and that 99 rider Ryan Haller trying to get their cars fixed up. There you do see that 5 rider Josh Crider. Josh down out there on the racetrack here. Good to see Josh at least load that rubbered up Productions number 5 right onto the racetrack. Looking pretty out there on the speedway. We do see Jordan Crider rejoin the field here as well. For Jordan, he is a couple laps down out there on the speedway. Unfortunately missed the start of this race and didn't get out there until a bunch of laps were already done and gone. We'll see that premium stock car racing league pace car out there on the speedway as well. Always looking beautiful, man. A huge shout out there to Matthew Wood for being our pace car driver here on the season and getting out there showing these drivers that this is the way to get around the racetrack here under the yellow flag. And after leading them for so much last season, now just leading them under the caution flags here in this one. At least giving them a little time there, not at the front of the field for this number 16 machine as Matthew Wood heads back down pit road, meaning that we're going to see that 1 to go from our official iRacing pace car there at the front of the field is Jordan Hand, Landon Burbage, 1 and 2 on the speedway. Aiden Lucas there in third with Brian Underwood rounding out our top 4. Danny White and the number 10 rider Wyatt Mickelson rounding out our third row. Ben Gleason, Logan Perryman back in 7th and 8th. And then we see that 00 Michael Durham Jr., the 28. That is the Interstate Batteries machine there of Trent Johns in that 10th spot. Noah Blackwell right there behind him, the 13 rider Michael Potter Jr. Grant Applegate, Jonathan Gaston, Melvin Branguer, William Connolly, Farrell Robbins, and Ryan Haller bringing up the rear of the field here with Jordan Crider also out there as well. Looks like Jordan is going to reel into the back end of this field, keep on racing this afternoon, so that's good to see him being back out there on the speedway. Now a couple caution flags, a couple of these ones could potentially put them into a good position here as Aaron Robinson says double points. Double points. Is this like a double points XP weekend or something? What in the world? Double points? Double points for the 28 rider Trenton Johns. What do you mean double points, Rod? What in the world? Is here we go. We're gonna get ready to go back to green flag racing. We're gonna get ready to go back to battle here in this one, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. As we're gonna get ready to duke it out here in this one as Boxx Gaming coming in with that follow over there on Twitch. Shout out there, Boxx Gaming coming in showing the love. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Probably getting it completely wrong. Coming in showing the love there on the Twitch stream. Dropping that follow. We appreciate that. Showing the love here in this one. As here we go. Back down onto the throttle across the start finish lines. We go back to green flag racing. Almost halfway through this first stage of the day. Stage number 1 will end at lap number 20. The completion of the 20th lap. Stage number 2 will end at the completion of lap number 40, and then we'll see this race go all the way down to lap number 80 and potentially beyond as Aaron Robinson says incident points for within 5 laps. Oh, double points. Oh, first 5 laps. I didn't know that. See, I didn't know that. So incident points for within 5 laps. It's a double hit right there. That's a tough one. That's a tough one for certain. And unfortunately there, I'm assuming that's probably going to go to the 28 ride of Trenton Johns there, as definitely got into the back end of that 18 ride. Started that whole chaos down in through quarter number 2 and quarter number 3 out there on the speedway, as we see them still battling, everyone trying to race their way back up towards the front of the field, as Jordan Hand continues to show these drivers around the racetrack, and now he's got his teammates back there behind him as Aiden Lucas into second, Brian Underwood up and into third here. Redemption Motorsports 1, 2, and 3 on the speedway. Landon Burbage in that Powerhouse Motorsports number 2 ride, that Prince's Towing Machine back there into position number 4, and once again he's going to be looking for more as Wyatt Mickelson rounding out our top 5. Great run again going for that number 10 machine is Trent Johns back there in 6th. Ben Gleason, the 76, Ryan of Danny White, the 88 of Logan Perriman back there in 9th. And you do see that 00. That is Michael Durham Jr. rounding out our top 10. Grant Applegate, who we saw come down pit road on lap number 5, able to get some fuel into that 57 machine. And he's just trying to play a little bit of strategy here in this race. And for the 57 right, giving up the track position, going to the rear of the field here after that green or caution flag pit stop there, and now getting ready to see if he can race his way back into a potentially a points area on the speedway, potentially looking to see if he can gain some points here and get some stage points on the afternoon, as he looks to roll around that 88 right. Perriman in the PBR machine, unfortunately going to fall back to 11th on the outside of a points paying position here, as Michael Ponder Jr. in the 13 ride, the 25 of William Connolly in that 18 machine, and Noah Blackwell a little 3 wide there down that back straightaway, and then down into quarter number 2, a big run and a big move there for that 25 ride, as Connolly able to jump up into position number 12. Blackwell able to follow around, get around that 13 ride of Michael Ponder Jr. Michael slides back into that 14th position with Jonathan Gaston, Melvin Brengruer, Ryan Haller, and Farrell Robbins rounding out our top 18 on the speedway. Jordan Crider, he's back here in the 19th spot, as Matthew Wood, Josh Crider, and Nathan Brookover round out our field here on the afternoon. But out in front, looking for the stage win this afternoon. Stage number 1 quickly coming to a close here as the laps getting clicked off. We're over halfway done here in this first stage, and for Jordan Hand in that beautiful Jordan, Michael Jordan NJB Designs and number 11 ride. He's looking to capture this one, as he's got a couple teammates back there behind him. Knows that Aiden Lucas is always super fast. Aiden is already locked into our playoffs here and looking for more stage points, looking for more bonus points here by picking up that stage win to help him through our championship rounds here all playoff long, as each and every single stage of our playoffs, you know, we get to use those extra bonus points that you've accumulated over the year and through the playoffs as well. You want to be able to bank as many of those bonus points up. That way, if you have a bad race, you got a bunch of points kind of already in your back pocket that you can use to try and help you advance into the next round of our playoffs here. And for Aiden Lucas, he's got a couple handfuls already, and I know he's going to be looking for more. Jordan Hand, though, and Landon Burbage, they would love to get an extra bonus point here and pick up this stage win. Brian Underwood as well in that 6th ride. He's thinking the exact same thing. Wyatt Mickelson back there in that 5th position. I know he would like to get a solid run, maybe some extra bonus points himself. Unfortunately for Wyatt, he's missed quite a few of the races here. I'm not sure if he's going to be a part of our playoffs this year or not. We'll have to wait and see where the standings stack up, or if he can maybe try to get a win and maybe work himself into the playoffs with a win on the season for that number 10 ride. As Trent Johns back there in position number 6, you do see that 66 of Ben Gleason down to his inside here, as Gleason looking to try to take over that 6th position, and right there behind him, one of those drivers that came down pit side. It's that Red Bull Racing number 57 machine of Grant Applegate. Applegate right there, ready to bounce, ready to size these guys up, was looking to try to maybe go 3 wide down this back straightaway, is the long poke straightaway here at Pocono Speedway, and you do see that 28 blinking a little bit right there. unfortunate break there for him, as he's going to have to be very careful if that driver's around him. Definitely going to be keeping an eye on that blinkiness, as you do see again that 57, another big run, getting down to the inside. Now he's going to shoot down low a little bit through the grass right there, slide up in front of the 66, slide up in front of the 28. He's looking to get a 2-for-1 down into corner number 3. Unfortunately, he's only going to get that one spot, but now battling door to door with the 66. No drafting help, no one to his back bumper, as that 66 ride has that preferred line down into corner number 1 here. Now you see Michael Durham Jr., the 79 of Danny White, the 88 of Logan Perryman, the 25 ride of William Connolly, all right there looking to jump into this battle here, trying to slide their way inside the top 10, as unfortunately Trent Johns sliding backwards right now. That 28 ride not handling the way he would like to, maybe after that contact between him and the number 18 ride of Noah Blackwell up there on the racetrack. I didn't see him come down pit road, so potentially some damage still on that 28 ride affecting his drive, but right there down through corner number 2, they get a little broken up back there behind him, holds him back there in that 8th position and try to salvage at least some stage points here in stage number 1 for that 28 machine. As Jordan Hand out in front, continue to lead the way, but you start to see that 20 ride, the Tracker Boats, Bass Pro Shops, Toyota Supra, starting to reel in right to the back bumper here at Jordan Hand. Aiden Lucas looking to have another outstanding run this afternoon, trying to put himself potentially back up into victory lane, as Landon Burbage having a solid performance here as well. Landon's had some really good runs, some very solid drives. Look to be a top 5, top 3 car a lot of these races, and potentially an area to pick up a checkered flag out there on the racetrack in our first 8 races of the season. Unfortunately, he's ended up into some catastrophic failures out there on the speedway, running into some issues in caution flags and getting tore up out there and just not getting the runs and finishes that I know he would love to get on a more consistent basis. And for that 2 ride, trying to finish off this one, see if he can put himself up into victory lane. As out in front, Jordan Hand will click off another lap, and that will get us a little closer here. About 5 laps left to go here in stage number 1. So stage number 1 quickly coming to a close this afternoon, as the racing action, man, it is just heating up here this afternoon, man. The racing action gonna be fast and furious, lap after lap after lap. And for some of these drivers, the pit strategy gonna play a big factor into whether or not you can find your way into victory lane here this afternoon. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're just tuning in here this afternoon and you haven't already done us the favor, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button right now. Become part of the Peacemaker family, become part of the Peacemaker crew here this afternoon. And down and at corner number 3 and back down this big long straightaway here at Pocono Speedway, it is the 11 ride of Jordan Hand who continues to lead the way. You do see Landon Burbage able to take that run and get himself around that number 2 ride and steal that 2nd spot away from him. So the 2 machine up into 2nd. Sorry, he made the pass around the 20 ride of Aiden Lucas. Now Aiden starting to struggle here a little bit. The 20 machine has fallen back now into position number 3 and potentially going to fall back to 4th here, as Brian Underwood starting to catch up to his back bumper. Wyatt Mickelson sees all this battling up at the front of the field. He would love to poke his nose into that fight, see if he can gain a couple extra spots here before the end of this stage. And Grant Applegate trying to hunt them all down. Applegate back there in that 6th position, trying to race his way up and into this battle at the front of the field, as well as Ben Gleason, Danny White, Trent Johns, who's back into 9th, and William Connolly there, who rounds out our top 10. That final position for extra stage points here this afternoon. The 25 ride going to look to try to hang on to it, but I know Logan Perriman and Michael Durham Jr. would love to knock him outside the top 10 and put themselves into a points situation here this afternoon. As Jordan Hand able to hang on to the race lead, but now gets up into the outside fence there ever so slightly. That's going to kill some of his momentum down this long poke back straightaway here at Pocono Speedway. The 2 ride of Landon Burbage again right to his back bumper, down and into the tunnel turn here at the tricky triangle, as Jordan Hand able to hit it perfectly there. Doesn't make a single mistake and gets a little bit more breathing room between himself and that 2 right as he tries to stretch out that race lead. See if he can try to run away with this first stage here this afternoon, as Burbage right there in that second spot. We do see Underwood able to make that pass, get himself around Aiden Lucas. Lucas back now into 4th. Was looking pretty strong, was looking like he was going to try to make those moves and see if he could steal that race lead away from Jordan Hand, but Hand not giving it up very easily, and unfortunately for Aiden, it cost him a couple spots out there on the racetrack and maybe more, as that 10 rider Wyatt Mickelson quickly starting to close that gap and reel these guys in and see if he can put himself potentially another spot to the positive. Is there he go at the front of the field. Here comes that 2 right. Landon Burbage, the Powerhouse Motorsports number 2 ride, will take the race lead back away here from Jordan Hand. So Hand slides back to second. Landon Burbage now to the race lead here at Pocono Speedway, as stage number 1 quickly coming to a close here in this one. Stage number 1 about to come to an end in just a couple more laps, is this time down out of corner number 3 on the speedway. Across the line, we will see lap number 20 up and onto the board, so we will see this stage come to a close here at the completion of this lap. And now we did see a couple of drivers take some strategy, trying to work themselves to the front of the field, maybe with some track position, as the 76 ride of Farrell Robbins did make that green flag pit stop out there on the speedway. He's back in the 18th spot right now, and unfortunately looks like he still may have some pretty good damage on that 76 ride, and he's just down on the apron here. He got tied up in that first caution flag, and it looks like that car still pretty bent out of shape here, just trying to keep it pointing in the right direction. Still some pretty heavy damage on Aiden Lucas. He's trying to move out of the way of it, trying to avoid running into the 76. That's going to open up the door there for the 10 right of Wyatt Mickelson, but a big run out of the 57, and around goes Grant Applegate right around both Aiden and Wyatt to steal position number 4, is out in front and winning stage number 1 on the afternoon. It's the Prince's Towing NJP Designs number 2 ride, the Powerhouse Motorsports machine. That is Landon Burbage. Burbage picks up the win here in stage number 1. Jordan Hand there in second. Brian Underwood getting 3rd place there, getting 3rd place points at the end of that stage. Grant Applegate back in 4th with Aiden Lucas there in 5th. Then we see Wyatt Mickelson back in 6th, Ben Gleason, Danny White, William Connolly, Logan Perriman rounding out our top 10 there in the first stage. Now, the stage does not end. There is no stage breaks here for these drivers in that first stage. This is a new thing that they came out with on the season, is that they are not doing stage breaks the normal way. They're going to hand out points. They're going to hand out the bonus points and stage points there at the completion of that 20th lap. But they're going to stay clean and green. We're not going to see the caution flag come back out, well, unless if there's an issue on the racetrack or we finish stage number 2. When stage number 2 does come to a close, that will be officially a stage break. We will see the caution flag come back out, and that will set these drivers up for what's going to be a tricky final 40 laps or so to finish off this race. Now, there could be lots of carnage, lots of damage, potentially not a full 40 laps under that green flag for these drivers, but the strategy is still going to have to play a big factor here, as they were able to use that first caution flag out there on the speedway to save a little bit of fuel out there on the racetrack. And so far we haven't seen them come down pit side, so it looks like they can make it probably at least 22 laps. We'll see if they stay out there a little longer, see how far they can really stretch this fuel. And I think for a lot of these drivers, that's kind of what they're trying to figure out right now, really where that give and take area is. If they can make it a solid 35 lap run without having to come down pit side, could really affect their strategy and how they have to navigate and game plan what they do during that final stage this afternoon. As he continues to lead the way, that 2 of Landon Burbage out in front, doing a great job here, keeping all these drivers back there at bay. Brian Underwood up into second now in that Kroger Mazda Racing, the Season 4 champion there last season. That Camaro up and into position number 2 here, as Hand back there in third. He hasn't really let these guys run away with it, but after leading the first lap and a lot of the laps there in the beginning of this race, pretty much led, 19 laps to start this race before giving it back up to our pole sitter, Landon Burbage. Now Burbage trying to just run away with it here. That sixth right, trying to hang with them. Jordan Hand sliding back now into third with Grant Applegate back in fourth. Now Applegate did come down pit road on lap number 5 here. Did get some extra fuel into that 57 machine, and that could really affect his strategy here on whether or not they can make it to the end of stage number 2, then having to come back down pit side. We'll have to keep an eye on that 57 right and see what that strategy call may be, as Aiden Lucas back there in position number 5 is right now 4 of our top 5 drivers, not including our race leader, a part of that Redemption Motorsports crew. Wyatt Mickelson back there in that 6th position, having himself another solid run, and Ben Gleason with another solid drive here as well. The 66 rolls there in that 7th position. Danny White there in 8th with William Connolly, Melvin Brangruer, our top 10 out there on the racetrack. Logan Pyramid, they're in 11th, they're in 11th with Jonathan Gaston in the Gaston's iRacing Graphics. Number 72 rolls there in 12th. Michael Durham Jr. back in 13th with Noah Blackwell there in 14th. Michael Ponder Jr., Ryan Haller, our top 16 out there on the speedway. Trent Johns back in position number 17. Farrell Robbins, unfortunately now the first driver a lap down in that 76, and unfortunately no caution flags, not a lot of time to get that beautiful Old Dogs racing ride fixed up, and unfortunately he's still feeling the effects of getting tied up in that first yellow flag of the day, and unfortunately so are a few other drivers back there, as you do see Michael Ponder Jr. there in that 13 ride. The 99 Ryan Haller still pretty heavy damage there on that 99 machine. You see that right front pretty tore up out there after solid contact there, getting tore up during that first yellow flag. And for Jordan Crider, not a lot of caution flags, not a lot of lucky dog opportunities, and for a driver that's a couple laps down out there on the speedway, now has another driver a lap down in front of him. And here we go, green flag pit stops. We do see Landon Burbage head down pit road. We did see Grant Applegate come in here as well. Looked like Applegate may have locked things down here, maybe coming in a little too fast, and we'll have to wait and see if there's a penalty or anything else for that 57 ride. May have been coming down pit road a little bit too quick right there. May have to serve a pass-through penalty there for that, very, very fast pit road entry, as we do see Landon Burbage down pit road. We do see that 57 reeling him in down on pit lane and catching up to the back bumper there. Now, I'm not sure what the call will be there, as they both head down pit side into their pit stall. Same with Ben Gleason, William Connolly, Noah Blackwell also coming down pit road here. So a bunch of drivers making these green flag pit stops, and that green flag pit cycle officially underway, as out in front is Brian Underwood, who leads this race, but now he'll head down pit road. Jordan Hand gonna stay out here. Aiden Lucas gonna stay out as well in that 20 ride, as we do see Wyatt Mickelson, Danny White, the number 89 of Melvin Brangruer. Here comes Logan Perriman. Here comes that 00 of Michael Durham Jr. Is this a bit of a floodgate being opened out there, as we start to see that first little bit of a group come down pit road. Now we see even more drivers head down pit side, as well as you see Grant Applegate. Applegate there in 12th here. Ben Gleason coming out in 13th, and unfortunately for Landon Burbage, gave up a lot of time down on pit road, and that's not what you want to see out of that 2 ride. And unfortunately having to have an extended pit stop, and probably going to give up that race lead unless if we see issues for Underwood or Jordan Hand down pit road. But it looks like a pretty quick pit stop there for that number 6 ride. Here comes Applegate, low end back around them here in that 57 ride, as Applegate, this could be the battle for the race lead out there on the speedway. And look out, oh, the 6 right of Brian Underwood almost goes around right there. Oh baby, those tire pressures not built up completely for that 6 ride. Unfortunately getting back onto the throttle, got very, very loose in a quick hurry, and that car almost went around. Luckily enough, able to catch it and keep it pointing in the right directions. Here we go. Jordan Hand down pit side. Aiden Lucas down pit road as well in that 20 machine, and Jonathan Gaston going to stay out there for a little bit longer here. He's going to extend this bit of a pit stop right here. He did pit at lap number 5 out there on the racetrack. So for the 72, playing this strategy game, leading some laps here, hoping to see if he can maybe extend this run and maybe get to that green and white checkered flag and finish stage number 2 off out in front, as Applegate would be our race leader here. So it looks like he's going to consume that race lead. Ben Gleason going to be in position number 2 with Brian Underwood back there in 3rd. Then we'll see Wyatt Mickelson there in 4th, and Jordan Hand rounding out our top 5 on the racetrack. Aiden Lucas, Landon Burbage, all right there together, as Connolly back there in position number 9. Danny White and this 28 ride of Trent Johns round out our top of 10 on the speedway. Brian Brewer, Michael Durham Jr., Noah Blackwell, Logan Perriman. We do see the 13 of Michael Potter Jr. able to make that pit stop. He rolls back out there onto the racetrack. Ryan Haller in the 99 ride. He rolls there in 17th with Jordan Crider back in 18th. Farrell Robbins in the 76 ride. Currently scored in that 19th spot on the speedway now. He is a couple laps down now for this number 76 ride, so him and Jordan Crider both a lap or multiple laps down out there on the speedway. But for Jonathan Gaston out in front leading this race here, everyone's came down pit road. Everyone else has made a green flag pit stop except for Jordan Crider, as Crider unfortunately came onto the racetrack quite a bit later than everybody else, maybe able to save a little extra fuel there for that 3 right now, trying to get that back out there on the speedway. We'll see if he heads down pit side here, as it does look like he's going to get checked up and make that hard left-hand turn back down pit road there for himself, as Aaron Robinson says, I'm sad I had a wedding to go to. Oh no, that's definitely a tough one right there, brother. Weddings are fun, and they're also, you know, loss of a friend or a family member there, as they get, you know, that ball and chain, and unfortunately now they're going to be too busy. They won't be able to do anything anymore. As Cryptic Dylan coming in showing the love. Dylan says, I'm sad I'm suspended. Dylan, brother, we're sad you're suspended as well, my boy. That is a tough one, tough loss there, not having that 88 rider, the 31 ride, I guess, now out there on the speedway, the Phoenix Esports machine, as I know you're definitely looking forward to, you know, continue to battle, continue to race out there right now. How long is the suspension for you, brother? Was it 3 races? Is that what it came down to? Wife's friend, boring AF. I feel that, especially when it's your spouse's friends and everything else. You don't really know anyone there. Yeah, definitely could be a boring night in a quick hurry. We feel for you, Aaron, but we're glad you're able to tune in and enjoy the racing action here. And you know what? Make sure you throw it up on the Jumbotron there at the wedding. Let all the folks there at the wedding to know to come follow Peacemaker Gaming. If they're really happy about the bride and groom getting married, they're going to follow Peacemaker Gaming. That's for certain. And hey, I'll give the bride and groom a shout out right now. The married couple, I'll shout them out. As Aaron Robinson says he got, I think, a one race. Okay. Yeah, Dylan says it's okay. It's only 1 race. Okay. Well, that's not too bad. Because I know last week when the incident happened, you were pretty gutted and said that you're potentially going to get a 3-race suspension there. So we're glad that worked out for you. As we do see Jonathan Gaston, man, came down pit road during that first caution flag. Now he has not come back down pit side. Everyone else kind of came down pit road there on lap 25, 26, even some down at 27. But for Gaston, he is still rolling out there, man. We're now on to lap number 32, and this has so far been about a 27-lap run for him since coming down pit road on lap number 5. Now, I'm not sure how much fuel he's got left in this 72 ride and whether or not he can make it to the end of this stage or not, but he's going to be looking to get it done, as Aaron Robinson says, already home, laugh out loud, but shout out Emma and Daxton. Yeah, shout out there. Shout out to the new married couple, Emma, Daxton. Congratulations, tying the knot. Hopefully nothing but a long and loving marriage for you, and hopefully, you know, a couple of new members of the Peacemaker family. Peacemaker family now, you know? I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. As out in front, we do see that 72. Finally bites that bullet, so it looks like about a 27-lap run before drivers pretty much have their hands forced and have to come down pit side. Unfortunately for the 72 ride, strolled through that pit box a little too far. Unfortunately, I had to back it up there, waiting for this crew to go to work, get that thing full of fuel, and back out there onto the racetrack as he falls down the leaderboard. Grant Applegate, though, a very quick entry down pit road, able to get that Red Bull Racing ride down pit side. A quick hurry, closed the gap, gained a lot lot of time there in that 57 ride. Out in front, leading the way here in this one is Brian Underwood there in second. We see Ben Gleason there in third here. A great lap there and a great pit stop there for that 66 ride of Ben Gleason as he's up inside the top three. Wyatt Mickelson trying to hold on to position number 4 here as he's got Jordan Hand, Aiden Lucas, and Landon Burbage all right there behind him. You can throw a blanket here over those 4 drivers out there on the racetrack here at the Pocono Speedway, the tricky triangle here this afternoon for the Premium Stock Car Racing League. As you'll see these guys down these straightaways, they'll start to try to move around a little bit, especially when there's drivers back there behind them. What they're doing, kind of snaking down these straightaways, especially we'll see it late in this race if they're single file, is you're trying to break that draft. You're trying to break it up a little bit where they can't really use that extra, aerodynamics off your back bumper to get a run on you, and that's exactly what we see out of the 11 ride of Jordan Hand, as he was able to do it down the front straightaway, close the gap, get to the back bumper of the 10 ride, now looking to make the move to steal that 4th spot away from Wyatt Mickelson. Mickelson unfortunately going to fall back into position number 4 and potentially farther back, as here comes Aiden Lucas as well, going to stroll around him and steal that 5th spot from him as well. So the Tracker Boats Bass Pro Shop 20 ride of Lucas now into that 5th spot on the speedway, and now maybe try to go after his teammate himself here in that 11 ride. Landon Burbage back there in 7th, as Burbage was able to pick up the first stage win of the afternoon. So Burbage was able to pick up that stage win in stage number 1. Now no caution flags, we keep it clean and green throughout that first stage, and now into stage number 2, and you see Wyatt Mickelson battling back here. The 10 ride back down low underneath the 20 machine, jumping back into that 5th spot on the speedway. Knows that all these stage points, the bonus points that he can try to earn throughout every single one of these races, could be the difference maker between him potentially being in our playoffs or not here this afternoon and this season. So he's just battling hard out there on the speedway. Is out in front, a 1.3 second lead. It's Grant Applegate leading the way here in stage number 2, looking for that second stage win of the day. Is down across the line. He will click off another lap, and we'll get 5 more laps left to go here before we see the end of stage number 2 here this evening. So stage number 2 quickly coming to a close here from Pocono, and we inch closer and closer to that halfway marker. The halfway area here this afternoon, lap number 40, splitting this race right in half. That's where we see that stage come to a close as well. So we should get back to green flag racing with probably about 38, 37 laps left to go out there on the speedway, and then we're going to see a shootout down to the end. Driver is going to have to potentially make that green flag pit stop out there on the speedway, or potentially see a couple caution flags and see more pit strategy kind of play out here in this final stage. As some of these drivers, man, if we see another quick caution flag after the stage break, potentially coming back down pit side, making sure you're extremely topped up on fuel, maybe able to use that to your advantage to try to find your way into victory lane here in this one. And some great racing action, everyone battling hard back there, as you still see that 10 ride of Wyatt Mickelson and the 20 of Aiden Lucas continuing to battle back here for that 5th position on the speedway. Aiden Lucas wants it here with the 10 ride, not going to give it up easily out there on the speedway, and that's starting to bring that 2 ride of Landon Burbage right into the battle, as Burbage in that Prince's Towing Powerhouse Motorsports number 2 ride. He is there. He is on their back bumper, and he's looking to try to shuffle his way maybe into that 5th position. If he can make some good moves here, maybe he can find his way into that 5th spot out there on the racetrack. As Connolly a little farther back there in that 25 ride, rolls there in 8th with Danny White back in 9th, and rounding out our top 10 in the 89 ride, it's Melvin Brengerer. They're in that Thrustmaster number 89 ride. Yes, we do see Michael Durham Jr., the 3M Exalta 00 ride back in 11th. Noah Blackwell in his Bad Dragon number 18 ride rolls there in position number 12. Is what's good? Brian Fine, Mr. Fine coming in, showing the love over there on YouTube. What's up, brother? Brian coming in, showing the love there on the YouTube stream. How are you, Mr. Fine? Fine, always looking fine out there on the speedway, and we'll see if Brian's going to be looking fine again this Thursday night, man. As last Thursday night, he was definitely fine. He was fine out in front. We had a lot of laps at Daytona Road Course in our Hypershift Racing League, and good to see Brian tuning in, showing the love here in this one. As Noah Blackwell rolls there in 12th, as Trent Johns back in 13th with Logan Perriman there in that 14th position. Jonathan Gaston back there in 15th. Ryan Haller rolls in 16th with Michael Ponder Jr. back in that 17th spot. Now Ponder Jr. does see our race leader right there behind him, trying not to go a lap down out there on the speedway, as Farrell Robbins still sits in that free pass position here. Jordan Crider back a couple laps down here in that 19th spot on the speedway. Wood, Josh Crider, and Nathan Brookover rounding out the field here, but for that number 13 Machine Man, he's trying his best and trying to keep these guys held up and back off his rear bumper here, trying to keep himself on the lead lap, but I'm not sure if it's going to get there or not, as Brian Fines is testing for next Thursday's event for Nashville. Brothers already working, trying to figure out that Nashville Speedway, trying to set himself up for another big day at the racetrack, see if he can make it 2 wins in a row there at Hypershift Racing League on our Thursday night shows. You see Ponder Jr. unfortunately up into the outside fence right there, just trying to stay out of the way of our race leaders. Unfortunately does fall into that lucky dog position here, so he's a lap down, but he's going to get that lucky dog as the stage comes to a close here. Unfortunately for Farrell Robbins, no longer in that lucky dog spot out there on the speedway, and for the 76 may have to try to use a little bit of track position if everyone else comes down pit side, maybe stay out and get the wave around, bank on potentially seeing a long short run here and seeing another quick caution flag at the start of this final stage of the day for that 76 ride. So definitely going to be some interesting strategies out there on the speedway, especially even for our drivers that are now a lap down out there on the racetrack, as Applegate out in front continuing to lead that way now. He has lost a little bit of time here to Brian Underwood. Underwood has been closing the gap here on that 57 ride, but it's not going to matter, as down through quarter number 3 here at Pocono, the tricky triangle in stage number 2 going to come to a close down across the line. 40 laps into the books, our halfway marker here this afternoon with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. 40 laps down, 40 laps left to go. We will see the caution flag come out as stage number 2 going to come to a close, and it's Grant Applegate with that stage win. Brian Underwood going to come home in second. Ben Gleason back in third. Jordan Hand and Aiden Lucas rounding out our top 5 here in that second stage. Wyatt Mickelson, Landon Burbage, William Connolly, Danny White, and Melvin Brangler are all going to pick up some stage points here this afternoon. Stage points going to our top 10 and an extra bonus point going to our stage winner here, that number 57 of Grant Applegate. So Applegate going to bank another bonus point there for the playoffs here this afternoon. And for Applegate now, the strategy calls are going to have to come out here. When do you come down pit side? Do you come down pit road here during this caution flag, or do you maybe wait a little bit longer, as we will see at least another few laps get completed here during this yellow flag? As a lot of drivers, they're still trying to get caught up here to the pace car, and that's already burnt off at least a lap here, and they should join that pace car right here. Here we go. They're going to roll up behind that Premium Stock Car Racing League pace car out there on the racetrack, driven by Matthew Wood, so he'll get everyone checked up back there behind him. And now the strategy calls have got to be coming up here. Every one of these teams, all these drivers trying to figure out what they need to do, where they need to be able to try to, make the right calls out there on the racetrack. Do you come down pit side right now, get tires, get fuel, trying to set yourself up for that final stage? I feel a lot of these drivers are going to have that in the back of their minds here, knowing that this could be another long green flag run. We may not see another caution flag all evening long, so to come down pit side now, take advantage of this yellow flag and have to make at least one more green flag pit stop here during this stage, and where we could see a lot of drivers maybe try to use a little bit of an early pit stop out there, maybe seeing drivers come down and split this final run right in half and trying to see if they can set themselves up for a solid finish this afternoon. Other drivers may try to stay out there a little longer, especially if we see some early caution flags here at the start of this stage. Potentially we see, drivers trying to save fuel or come back down pit side, give up track position to get extra fuel into their cars to make it that much farther there at the end of this race. As here you go, they're going to start to head down pit side. Here you go. That is a big move right there, and it looks like everyone's going to follow our race leader, Grant Applegate, down pit side. Is Underwood, Gleason, Hand, Aiden, Lucas, and everybody else that's on the lead lap all going to come down pit road. Is Michael Ponder Jr. in the 13. He will stay out there on the racetrack as he is going to get the wave around. He is going to get back onto the lead lap here this afternoon, as he's going to be able to quickly just stroll around that iRacing pace car in our Premium Stock Car Racing League pace car there, and he's going to get that lap back, the lucky dog here in this second stage. That second caution flag of the day is Farrell Robbins, unfortunately not in position for the lucky dog. He's going to have to hope for a quick caution flag out there on the speedway after this restart. For Jordan Crider, he's staying out. He's trying to gamble here a little bit now. He will get the wave around as well, as all the race leaders should be back there behind him. We'll see if he comes down pit road this time, though, or if he stays there looking for that wave around, looking to try to get that extra little bit of a jump out there on the speedway here and trying to get one of those laps back this afternoon. Is Applegate able to beat everyone out of pit lane here, and Applegate going to stay as our race leader as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here at Pocono Speedway. As Matt Fletcher, what's good, Matty? Matt Fletcher coming in, showing the love over there on Facebook, says, hey, Aaron, what's up, Matty? What's up, brother? How are you, Matty? How are you, mister? How you doing this afternoon? Coming in, showing the love over there on FB, showing the love here in this one. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, as we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing. We're going to get ready to set things off here once again, but we're going to get ready to get a word in here from our sponsors over at the always amazing Prestige Enterprises.
Hey guys, my name is Harley with Prestige Enterprises. Not only are we a proud sponsor of the Powerhouse Motorsports, we're also proud to be one of the sponsors for Premier Stock Car Racing League. We provide our services to over 70% of the US, and we have a wide range of services, but our main focuses are custom homes, barn doors and shops, and commercial development. But it doesn't stop there. So pull out your phones and use this QR code on your screen to take a quick look at our website. We can't wait to make your dreams come true. Now that we have helped pay some bills, let's throw it back to you, Aaron.
Alrighty, as our Premium Stock Car Racing League pace car has went back down pit side, we see these drivers start getting stacked up 2 by 2 by 2, getting ready to go back to green flag racing here from Pocono Speedway. As down across the line, we will complete lap number 44, meaning that we're going to have about a 36 lap run to the end here this afternoon. 36 laps of racing action, as Texas Calva says number 2 stalled the car in pit lane. Gonna have to fight through the field. Win in 7th, out 11th. Ooh, that's a tough break right there. That's a tough break, and those are some of those little incidences, those little mistakes out there that could be the difference maker between picking up the checker flag or parking it up inside the top 5, or not getting the run that you would hope for here this afternoon. And for Landon, he's going to try to have to rebound from that one. Luckily enough, still has quite a bit of this race left to go. A very fast number 2 Camaro, and going to look to try to get that Powerhouse Motorsports number 2 right back up here to the front of the field as our pole sitter here this afternoon. Definitely does not want to be back outside the top 10 for very long, and we'll see if he can jump back inside it here on this restart. Is down through corner number 3 and into corner number 1 and into the Geico restart zone. We will go back to green flag racing here at Pocono Speedway. The tricky triangle here this afternoon as we start our final stage of the day. We'll get it off with a bang as we'll crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers. Give it up here for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session right there, giving us the sights and sounds around the beautiful Pocono Speedway. As out in front leading this race, it is that 57 ride. It's Grant Applegate out in front of the field, showing these drivers how to get it done. Here in this one, Applegate out in front. He's been looking to run away with this one. Shout out to all of our amazing drivers with the webcams turned on there as well during this crank it up, as you see that Red Bull machine still has a big lead here, a big gap as they make the move around the 3 machine. Unfortunately, putting Jordan Crider another lap down out there on the racetrack, and right in front of them was the 72 rider Jonathan Gaston. Gaston did just come down pit road and make a bold strategy call here, coming down pit side a little bit earlier than everybody else, hoping to see if he can use that bit of a pit strategy here to his advantage, looking to leapfrog some drivers and maybe see if he can pick up some extra spots here at the end of this race, as everyone still gonna have to come down pit side at least one more time here this afternoon. Green flag pit stops will come out here and will commence probably in the next little bit. Some drivers probably gonna extend it just ever so slightly out there on the racetrack, trying to make it so that if we do go to a little bit of NASCAR overtime or anything else here this afternoon, it's gonna be you know, they're gonna have that extra fuel in their tank here, where the 72 ride potentially coming down a little bit sooner may not have as much fuel as everybody else, and may have to unfortunately come back down pit road, give up all that track position that he may have gained here from making that pit stop earlier than everybody else, as he's going to be on the long run a little worse off, but on the short run, definitely very, very fast. You see him actually starting to pull away from our race leader, and that's the difference between the fresh tires and the old tires. Last time around here, Grant Applegate, our race leader, ran a 55.99 out there on the speedway. Now, he's one of the fastest cats out there on the racetrack inside the top 5. Very, very good lap time there. A couple of faster lap times back there behind him, though, and especially out of that 72 ride, Jonathan Gaston, his last lap around was a 54.75, over a second quicker than our race leader, and now out on the racetrack, and could correspond to a lot of spots out there on the speedway, and could potentially leapfrog this 72 ride towards the front of the field here, especially if we see drivers running this green flag out a little bit longer. They got lots of fuel still in their tank, but they're kind of at that halfway marker here of this stage, and now trying to make that decision to whether to come down pit side or to stay out there. And for some of these cats that are in this big group back here, you look back at this battle, man. Jordan Hand, Ben Gleason, Aiden Lucas, Landon Burbage, the 25 of William Connolly, all right there together. You can throw a blanket over 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th on the racetrack. These 5 drivers, including that number 3 machine, Jordan Crider, who's multiple laps down back in the 19th position, they are all over top of each other. And as they continue to battle like that, it's starting to bring Wyatt Mickelson, the 18, and Noah Blackwell, and Melvin Brenger, the rest of our top 10, quickly to their back bumper. As out in front, Applegate trying to stretch out that race lead. 1.2 seconds separate him and Brian Underwood there in that second spot, as Jordan Hand holds on to 3rd, and now with his teammate right there in his back bumper, that is the 20 of Aiden Lucas. And right now, Redemption Motorsports sits 1, 2, 3, and 4 out there on the racetrack. Now, here we go. A big slew of drivers starting to come down pit road here. Everyone looking to try to get that upper hand, looking to try to play this strategy game here, as Hand, Burbage, William Connolly, some of our front runners coming down pit road first here in this final stage of the day. Logan Perriman also coming down pit sign there in that PBR number 88 ride, also coming down pit sign. Here is that PBR machine is the Perriman Brothers Racing channel over there on YouTube. Shout out there to Logan and the Perriman Brothers Racing channel over there on YouTube. Shout out there to them and their content creation and everything that they're doing there on YouTube. Love to see some of these drivers venturing into some of the content side of things here on iRacing, bringing some more of the amazing action to everyone's fronts. And I want Logan to know if he wants to use any of this footage from the broadcast or anything else, that he's got free use of it, brother. You want to use it, you want to crop it out and put it into your video or anything, man, you got all the rights in the world to do so. As in front, it's that number 57 rider, Grant Applegate, but Applegate going to forfeit that race lead as he comes down pit side as well as Brian Underwood. So our top two drivers down pit side. Ben Gleason also down pit road. Melvin Brangruer in the 89 heads down pit side, and Michael Durham Jr. also down pit road here for what could be their final pit stops of the day. Aiden Lucas stays out though. Lucas going to stay out, going to lead that lap across the start finish line. So Aiden, our new race leader here, we'll see how long he stays out and gives up time here on the racetrack. Wyatt Mickelson also staying out here as well in that 10 machine. Noah Blackwell, Ryan Holler yet to come back down pit road for their final pit stops of the afternoon as Grant Applegate down and out already making his green flag pit stop. Quickly roll back out there onto the racetrack here. Underwood right there in position number 2, or at least that's where they would line up, coming back out there onto the speedway. And you see Jordan Hand already in a battle with them, and it looks like Jordan Hand going to take over what could be position number 2 here this afternoon. Ben Gleason could be back there in that 4th spot. We'll see where everything lines up as this group still right there tight together, as Connolly, that 2 of Landon Burbage, the 79 of Danny White, all still right there on top of each other. We'll see where everyone else rolls back out onto the racetrack. It's Aiden Lucas, Wyatt Mickelson, Noah Blackwell all down pit side. Ryan Holler going to stay out there on the racetrack, and Holler looking to try to maybe lead some laps here at Pocono Speedway, having that 99 right out in front. Holler still looking for a great finish here in this season, as he's been kind of snake bitten all year long. As Applegate going to be our race leader still on the speedway, as he's going to be out in front of all these drivers that have made that final pit stop. Jordan Hand there in position number 2 with Underwood there in 4th. Then we see Ben Gleason, that 2 of Landon Burbage, battling here with the 25 of William Connolly. Danny White back there in 8th. Unfortunately for Aiden Lucas, staying out there on the racetrack for a few extra laps for that number 20 ride. He was out there for a couple laps longer than some of these other drivers, and that puts him back into the 9th position. Noah Blackwell right there with him in 10th. And then Wyatt Mickelson now outside the top 10, rolling there in 11th. But they have some of the fresher tires out there on the speedway. Maybe that will converse to a little bit of extra speed, especially as we get closer to that checkered flag. Maybe they'll find that extra speed and start being able to pass some drivers there, as we do see Ryan Holler, who was our race leader, also head down pit side. So Holler making that green flag pit stop. He's going to fall down the leaderboard, now back into 15th, 16th now, as Michael Durham Jr. rolls around him, potentially going to fall back to 17th here, but Michael Ponder Jr. a little farther back there in that 17th position. Doesn't look like he will leapfrog that 99 ride, as here comes Holler back out onto the racetrack. Unfortunately, back in that 17th spot is the fastest lap of this race. Just got laid by the 66 ride. Ben Gleason just laid the quickest lap of this race on lap number 63 here this afternoon. And this 66 ride seems like he has made the right adjustments, and that car is starting to come to life here in this one, as Aaron Robinson says, missing that Lucas era of dominance. Well, I mean, you can never count out Aiden Lucas, but right now Aiden obviously on the back end of some of this strategy, and he's back there in that 8th position. And after seeing Grant Applegate pick up the win last week, maybe it's Applegate's turn to try to win 4 races in a row, but they're looking for, what, 6 races, 7 races in a row here for Redemption Motorsports, and currently sitting there with Jordan Hand and Brian Underwood back in 2nd and 3rd. Redemption Motorsports again sitting 1, 2, and 3 out there on the speedway. Ben Gleason in position number 4, trying to break up that party scene if he can get that 66 ride up inside of a podium run here, and potentially helping him out as he tries to race his way into the playoffs here this afternoon. Connolly back there in 5th, as Landon Burbage in that 6th position. They've been battling hard after those green flag pit stops, and even before the green flag pit stops, they were kind of all over top of each other, and the 2 and the 25 have been battling hard out there on the speedway. Good, hard, respectful racing out there on the racetrack. Only that one caution flag early in this race, as Danny White back there in 7th, Aiden Lucas, Noah Blackwell, Wyatt Mickelson. Now we're going to go our top 10 is Melvin Brangruer back at 11th, Logan Perriman there in 12th, Trent Johns there in 13th with Jonathan Gaston, Michael Durham Jr. our top 15, Ryan Holler, Michael Ponder Jr., Farrell Robbins, and Jordan Crider rounding at our top 19, as Matthew Wood, our official pace car, down pit road, and Josh Crider, Nathan Brookover unfortunately did not take the green flag and have not rolled out there onto the racetrack, as out in front, leading leading this race. It's Grant Applegate. Is Applegate looking to go back-to-back, looking to pick up a big win here this afternoon as he's got 2.8 seconds between himself and Brian Underwood. Underwood trying to hold on to that second spot here as he was able to work himself back around Jordan hand by hand. He's feeling the pressure here from that number 66 ride. Ben Gleason right there all over top of him, and those three drivers, you know, they start battling door to door. A couple slip-ups. All of a sudden, we start to throw William Connolly and Landon Burbage right back into the mix here for some good, solid top 3, top 4, top 5 runs here this afternoon. As a little farther back, you do see Aiden Lucas. Now, Aiden does have a lot fresher tires than the drivers in front of him here. Not by a lot, but a lap or two, and that can make a huge difference. And for that 20 ride of Aiden Lucas, he's looking to use those fresher tires to continue to drive his way back up towards the front of the field here. Danny White slides back to 8. Noah Blackwell and Wyatt Mickelson trying to race their way farther forward here inside the top 10 is Brangruer right there as well, putting the pressure to the back bumper of that HendrickCars.com, that ally machine of Wyatt Mickelson, as Mickelson trying to pick up another solid top 10 run here on the afternoon as he's looking for that top 10 run here in the Field Up Motorsports team. As I do see Melvin in that group as well. Melvin, Haller, and Wyatt Mickelson. I don't know if Brangruer decided to change it up and make a alliance here and team up with the Field Up Motorsports rides, but nonetheless, he's right there battling with Wyatt Mickelson out there on the racetrack, as we do see a lot of different drivers in different places here. A lot of drivers trying to figure out where they need to be or where they need to go out there on the speedways. Landon Burbage and Reese Calva. I don't see Reese out there on the racetrack, but we did see Reese in the webcams there. Shout out there to Reese Calva, Mr. Texas Calva, and our amazing Prestige Enterprises sponsor here on the season. You know, he was in the webcams. He was showing off that beautiful webcam, that beautiful face of his, but not out there racing on the speedway. Looks like he's up in the up in the spotter stand here, trying to spot for his teammate, his partner out there of crime, as Landon Burbage there in 5th. He's been able to work himself back around William Connolly and into that 5th position as Texas Cowboy. There he is. He's in the chat. He says he's spotting. He's spotting right now. He's trying to help out that 2 ride, and Landon trying to race his way back up towards the front of the field as Reese says 3 race suspension, too many wrecks left allowed. I get you, brother. I get you, man. That's tough. That's tough, man. That's tough. The rules are there, and unfortunately, sometimes they gotta be enforced. And unfortunately, it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. I mean, Dylan Carrier, he's in that same boat right now. He's suspended, and a lot of drivers potentially, having those issues throughout the season. Luckily enough, it happens now. Hopefully, we see Reese back out there and able to finish off the season strong and maybe potentially, pick up a win or something here later in the regular season. I'm not sure if he'll be back before the regular season's done, and maybe put himself into victory lane, maybe be able to steal a win and race his way into the playoffs, or just have some fun throughout the playoffs and helping that 2 ride of Landon Burbage maybe try to win this championship. As Grant Applegate out in front, he's a championship contender here almost every year. As last season he was a part of that championship battle in our season finale in that 57 ride. He's hooked up here again this afternoon. Our championship driver of last season, that is the 6th ride of Brian Underwood, trying to hunt him down. Underwood there in 2nd, starting to gap himself here a little bit between himself and the 11 ride, but it's very loose there out at corner number 3 on the racetrack, and unfortunately going to lose a lot of time there, a lot of momentum. Unfortunately, that gap that he was starting to close on the 57 ride may have just gave it all right back there on that front straightaway. As Jordan Hand, another one of our championship contenders last season, up and into position number 3. Ben Gleason there in 4th. Landon Burbage rounding out our top 5. Then we see William Connolly back there in 6th. Aiden Lucas there in 7th. Noah Blackwell, Danny White, Melvin Brangruer in that 10 right of Wyatt Mickelson rounding out our top 11. Logan Perryman back there in 12th with Michael Durham Jr., Jonathan Gaston, Ryan Haller, our top 15 out there on the racetrack is Trent Johns down pit side in that Interstate Batteries Toyota, that 28 ride down on pit road. Farrell Robbins potentially looking for another spot here. Same with Jordan Crider's down pit road now, actually, as Michael Ponder Jr. has fallen a couple laps down. He scored back in the 19th position on the racetrack. As Texas Kelva says, yeah, the number 2 car is our main focus this season for Powerhouse Motorsports. Yeah, I figured he's definitely the main focus right now. Obviously, after some tough races there for yourself, and then obviously the suspension and everything, definitely good idea to kind of focus and try to help that 2 ride out as much as possible. And here tonight, he's looking very, very strong, looking good out there on the racetrack, and I'm sure that Prince is towing Powerhouse Motorsports number 2 ride would love to find himself up in victory lane after qualifying in that pole position. Has shown a lot of speed out of that 2 ride. Just unfortunate mistakes out there on the speedway. A couple pit stops that have came back to bite him in the butt. And for the 2 ride, he just rounds out our top 5 on the racetrack here, trying to close the gap here on Ben Gleason. Is Gleason about a second and a bit in front of him, and you see Jordan Hand right there, as well as Brian Underwood not too far away as they race with the lap down number 28 ride out there on the racetrack of Trent Johns. And then you see that big gap, almost 3 seconds now between first and second, as Applegate out in front, just looking to try to run away with this one. And as the laps continue to click down, only 6 laps left to go already here in this race. They're clicking him off in a quick hurry, and this 57 ride trying to put himself up and into victory lane, man. But give it up for all these drivers, man. A lot of green flag laps. We've only seen 2 caution flags. We saw that early yellow flag come out on lap number 4 here early on in this race. We saw the stage break there at the midway point on lap number 40 and completing stage number 2. We see those 2 yellow flags, and so far that is it. Other than that, it's been green flag non-stop, hard-fought racing out there on the speedway during the green flag conditions. And for the 57 ride, he's been able to hit the strategy pretty much perfectly here. But late in this race, a late race caution flag could always pop up, could arise late in this race and really mix things up here from Pocono Speedway. As out in front, he's enjoying this 3-second lead, but there on that last lap, he actually gave quite a bit of it back, and Brian Underwood able to cut down that lead by about 0.3 of a second. Jordan Hand, they're in third. They're trying to reel back in that 6th ride as well. Ben Gleason right there. Landon Burbage, he's trying to hold on to that 5th spot, as you do see the 20 ride of Aiden Lucas is able to work himself around the 25 of Connolly. Connolly falls back to 7th as Aiden Lucas now up into 6th. Now he does have a lap or 2 better tires than everybody in front of him here. He's got the freshest tires inside the top 6 out there on the speedway. We'll see if he can try to make some moves and race his way back up towards the top 5 here. Maybe try to join his teammates for another 1, 2, 3, 4 finish here this afternoon. Is Noah Blackwell back there in 8th, Brangerer there in 9th. He's got Wyatt Mickelson right there on his back bumper, rounding out our top 10 on the racetrack. Danny White having himself a pretty solid day here in that Old Dogs Gaston's iRacing Graphics number 79 ride, as he rolls back in 11th with Logan Perriman and that Perriman Brothers Racing over on YouTube. Number 88 Ryan rolls there in 12th. Michael Durham Jr., that beautiful 3M Exalta Pepsi 00 Ryan there in 13th. Jonathan Gaston himself here in that Gaston's iRacing Graphics number 72 ride there in 14th. Now, he was able to make that earlier pit stop, came down pit side virtually about 5-6 laps earlier than a lot of these other drivers. Now, I don't know if that really helped him out or hurt him out there on the racetrack, but nonetheless, he rolls back in 14th with Ryan Haller there in 15th, Trent Johns back in 16th, Farrell Robbins there in 17th, Michael Ponder Jr. and Jordan Crider rounding out our top 19 on the speedway. But for Grant Applegate, he's inching closer and closer to making it 2 wins in a row, and I do believe his 3rd win on the season for this 57 ride, as that Red Bull machine rolls down the Long Poke straightaway here. Or Long Pond. Is a Long Pond, Long Poke, Long Pond, I do believe is what they call his back straightaway here at Pocono Speedways. He rolls down over the tunnel turn here in turn 2 at Pocono, and Applegate still out in front, but that lead is starting to evaporate here. Less than 2 seconds now between himself and this 6th ride of Brian Underwood. Underwood still hasn't really pulled too far away from Jordan Hand or Ben Gleason. So in these closing laps, if Applegate continues to give time up, that 6th ride trying to track him down, but they are quickly running out of time with only 2 more laps left to go. 2 more laps left here from Pocono Speedway here in the Premium Stock Car Racing League. As Grant Applegate looking to pick up that checker flag, it's Brian Underwood, who's trying to hunt him down. 2 seconds down out of corner number 1 and down that long pond back straightaway here at Pocono. Unfortunately, oh man, this is going to be a tight battle back here for position number 3 here. These drivers, they're running out of time. I don't know if they're going to be able to catch that number 57 for Applegate. He just does not want to see the caution flag come out. If the yellow flag does arise, that could be a clean wipe here, and seeing all these drivers come back down pit side and potentially put this win at risk for him. So he's just trying to pick up this white flag as quickly as possible and keep it on cruise control. Down to the checkered flag is out of corner number 3 here for what could be our penultimate lap of the evening. So there goes our penultimate lap, and the white flag is out and into the air. So our final lap here this evening, the white flag has been displayed here in the Premium Stock Car Racing League, and for Applegate, over 2 seconds between himself and Brian Underwood as that battle for position number 3 continues to rage on. You do see that 20 ride of Aiden Lucas. He's now trying to join this battle and seeing if he can join his teammates as a 1-2-3-4 finish for Redemption Motorsports. But Ben Gleason trying to break that up as the 66 ride sticks to the outside lane here, looking to try to keep himself in position number 3 here. After battling his way around that 11 ride, a big shove, oh, getting squirrely down the back straightaway. Oh, baby. Oh, Jordan Hand almost got taken out right there by his teammate Aiden Lucas. I think Aiden was just trying to help him, maybe make that pass and get the run, but down across the line, it's going to be the Red Bull, number 57 of Grant Applegate, who will round corner number 3 for the final time and pick up the checker flag here at Pocono Speedway. The tricky triangle, not so tricky here this evening for that 57 machine, as he'll get it done and pull himself up into victory lane. Brian Underwood will come home in second, and Ben Gleason will round out our top 3 here this afternoon. Gleason able to keep himself on that outside lane, able to get the benefit of a bad push down the back straightaway from teammates there, and he's able to split up that 1-2-3-4 finish here for the Redemption Motorsports crew. They'll have to settle for 4 inside the top 5 as Gleason able to come home and round out our podium. Landon Burbage back there in 6 with William Connolly, Noah Blackwell, Melvin Brangruer, and Wyatt Mickelson rounding out our top 10 here this evening as the 57 ride of Grant Applegate. He's going to get ready to celebrate here and party hardy down here at Pocono Speedway as he's able to get it done and pick up a big win here from the tricky triangle as he's going to back it into the inside fence here on the front straightaway. He's going to get ready to burn down the house here in this one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's see some congratulations up in the chat here for Mr. Applegate as he gets it done and gets the win here this afternoon, man. What a run, what a race there for him, and he'll take that car right down into victory lane, and we'll get ready to pull our top 3 up and into the booth here for some post-race interviews. Post-race interviews about to come right at you here in just a couple seconds. We'll wait for our race winner. There he is. And here comes Grant Applegate. We'll pull him up here into the booth. Hey, Grant, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yes, I do.
Grant, man, what a run, what a drive here for you, man, as you're able to pick up the checkered flag here at Pocono Speedway. Take us back through this race and what's going through your mind after, we saw that early caution flag. You come down pit side trying to use that for a little bit of fuel strategy there, trying to mix things up a little bit. You came down pit side, your teammates stay out there on the racetrack and kind of breaks up your guys' battle there in the front of the field, and obviously just playing the different side of the coin there and giving up the pit or the track position for that extra little bit of fuel. And so far throughout this race, it seemed like it played out for you as you were able to race your way back up towards the front, make a great pit stop there at the end of stage number 1, and jump out with that race lead. And from that point on, it seemed like you were the car to beat, never giving up that top spot out there on the racetrack as you were able to hold these guys off and pull yourself up and into victory lane here at Pocono.
Yeah, just after the first caution came out and I pitted and I seen track position was just going to matter so much. I mean, I had fresher tires and just could barely pass. So, yeah, we came to the pit stop, the first green flag pit stop, and I knew I just to get all of it and see how much I could get. And Landon, thankfully, was in front of me, so I could kind of judge myself based off him. And I just drove it off into pit road and kind of figured out what the limit was on that pit stop so that the second pit stop came around and I kind of knew what the limit was. And was able to get in hard on that and come out with whatever 2.5, 3 second lead, and then it was just managing tires, managing the car. But yeah, Brian was definitely really good on the long run. I feel like if just the pit stops won me the race, if I'm being 100% honest, just getting on and off pit road.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very quick down there on pit lane, and that leads to you finding yourself up here in the top spot here for back-to-back weeks in that 57 machine. It's got to feel pretty good after, so many races, watching your teammate Aiden Lucas win a bunch of those races in a row. Now you're starting to string some together yourself here, maybe taking some of his good luck and putting it into your back pocket here for these races, getting ready to roll into our playoffs here in just a few short weeks.
Yeah, me and Lucas been racing for a long time, so honestly, just always super competitive with him. We'll see what happens, but yeah, it's 3-4. Hopefully, I can even it up at some point this season.
Absolutely. Now 3 wins on the season, picking up another big dump here this afternoon. Grant, who would you like to thank for another solid run, solid performance, and great drive out there on the Speedway?
Just thanks to the setup people. I feel like I don't mention them ever enough, but their setups make the racing usually a lot better. Just makes cars drive a lot better. And then obviously people put on the show and you for broadcasting. So appreciate everybody who puts the show on. And as always, my teammates just give me a place to run and, work as teammates at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, Grant, great run, great race. Congratulations on the checkered flag again here this afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you right back in action next Saturday and see if you can find yourself right back up here in Victory Lane.
We'll see what happens.
Beauty, Grant. Enjoy the rest of your night, and don't party too hard down there in Victory Lane.
Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Grant Applegate, our race winner here this afternoon. Celebrating down from pit road down in Victory Lane here, and now we'll get ready to pull in his teammate. Coming home in position number 2, another solid run for the number 6 ride of Brian Underwood. As Underwood comes home there in second, let's get him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Brian, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yes, sir. Gotcha.
Brian, man, another solid run, another solid drive here for you. Unfortunately, again, one spot shy of Victory Lane here in that 6 machine. But, man, you're starting to stack together some really good runs, some very solid performances, and really starting to stack those pennies towards our playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good race all around. Definitely just wanted to stay in the front there on restarts. Track position was huge. I felt like I could pass. Fortunately, I only had to pass a couple people between Jordan and Aiden and so on. So it's just basically just trying to set yourself up right, save tires enough to make a run on both stages there on lap 80 and towards the end of the race. Both times I feel like I botched coming off of pit road on what was it, lap 35 or whatever it was. I got loose, lost 2 seconds on Grant. I felt like that made the difference. I closed that into like 8/10, and then at the end of the race it was kind of the same rhythm there. About 2.5 seconds behind, and I was able to close it in until I took the wall for a ride. And yeah, it was a good night. Consistency.
Yeah, consistency is key out there on the racetrack, and we saw that there a couple times. You were starting to close that gap. You were starting to reel him back in there, even for a little bit, within 2 seconds of him there, and then getting loose at a corner 3 here at Pocono Speedway and getting a little squirrely there on the front straightaway. Luckily enough, you were able to gather that car back up and not lose any positions or, get back into that battle with Jordan Hand and Ben Gleason as they were right there duking it out behind you, but you were able to hold on to that second spot, just weren't able to chase down that 57 ride. But if you're going to lose to anybody out there on the racetrack, I'm sure you're happy it was, again, to another one of your teammates is now Redemption Motorsports picking up, 6, 7 wins in a row now on the season?
Yeah, definitely on fire. Seem to be in the top 5 every week. Like I said, it's a good group of guys. We're very competitive. I mean, there's probably some frustration with the group chat because like we're all racing each other pretty hard. I was thankful Jordan let me buy twice, and Aiden done the same for me. So I mean, it's nice to lose to a teammate, but at the same time, you want to pass the checker line first.
Yeah, absolutely. Always wanting to win these races. And for you guys, as you said, man, very, very competitive. No one wants to be a bridesmaid. No one wants to be back there and not up in victory lane. And for Grant and Aiden, they've been on fire here this season, picking up 7 wins between them. And now I know you and Jordan are really, waiting patiently here for your time to strike and your time to shine and being able to pick up some of these wins and maybe just trying to keep them in your back pocket here. Maybe wait until those playoffs when it matters the most to find victory lane here again this season.
Yeah, I mean, I got what, 1 or 2 stage wins. Like I said, consistency will pay off, and really the only race that matters to win is going to be the last race. So as long as you get to that final 4, that's when you want to win. Not so much early on. Does help with playoffs. I mean, those two are going to have pretty damn hard time getting knocked out in the first 2 rounds. So it is beneficial, but if I keep the consistency up, I'm not too worried about the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely, and we look forward to seeing how they all play out and see how you guys do get out there in the playoffs as well, especially when you could get into a situation where it's one or the other to advance or anything else could get down to some craziness here in the season like it always does. But Brian, a solid run and a solid drive here tonight at Pocono Raceway for you as you're able to park that 6th ride up here on the podium in position number 2, man. Who would you like to thank for another solid run and solid drive out there on the Speedway?
Thank you for putting on a great show. I'm glad we definitely ended the race a lot better in the last 2 weeks for you. And then gotta thank my teammates. We're competitive, but I think it definitely is making us faster each week. And then just gotta thank everybody who showed up. I mean, we had pretty good field there. I don't know how many we had. And gotta thank all the drivers for keeping it clean. Just 1 caution, so that's great to see. And obviously all our sponsors. And then gotta thank Josh. He helped a little bit in the race after his sex change. So it's great to have him back. Hopefully sooner than later. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Hoping that Josh is feeling good. Hopefully healing quickly and getting back out there onto the racetrack there for Mr. Crider. And for Brian, man, another solid run, another solid drive for you here tonight, man. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack and maybe right up here in Victory Lane next Saturday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Beauty. Brian, enjoy the rest of your night. And actually, I'll see you up there on the racetrack for a little bit tomorrow afternoon in the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League.
Oh yeah, I'll be able to race this week. See you then.
Maybe. We can't wait to see you back out there.
Okay.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our 2nd place finisher as Mr. Brian Underwood coming home there in position number 2. Solid run, solid drive there for Underwood as we'll get ready to pull in our 3rd place finisher here, the 66 of Ben Gleason. Not only our 3rd place driver and our final podium finisher here on the afternoon, but also our hard charger up 9 spots here on the afternoon, man. A solid drive for this 66. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Ben, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yes, sir.
And, man, what a run. What a drive here tonight for you, man. That 66 was absolutely hooked up. The last few weeks, you've seen very, very strong out there on the racetrack. And here tonight, not only rounding out our podium, but also being the hard charger on the afternoon, picking up 9 spots and stealing that 3rd place finish and breaking up a bit of that 1, 2, 3, 4 finish, that we've seen the last few weeks for the Redemption Motorsports guys. You're able to be dead slam right in the middle of them here and park it up there in position number 3. Take us back through this race and what's going to go through your mind right now after having strung together some pretty good races, some great finishes.
I mean, the whole race, I was around the Redemption boys the whole time, racing hard. But we raced clean. It was a great time. And then there on that last lap, Aiden went to give Jordan a push, and he got a little bit sideways, and I was able to just sneak through and get 3rd.
Yeah, absolutely. Saw that push come from the 20 ride, trying to launch it and maybe get a little bit of a draft or pump draft there down into corner number 3 here to see if they can slide around you and make it a 1, 2, 3, 4 finish for them, but not here tonight, as that bump was just a little too much for Jordan to hang on to and allows you to park it up here in position number 3. Been a solid run, a great drive out of you, and we can't wait to see more and more amazing finishes and more trips up into the broadcast booth for yourself, man, as definitely been a long time coming, seeing the 66 ride back up here in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, I hope to do this a few more times this season.
Absolutely, brother. Ben, a great run, a solid drive, and a great third-place finish here to cap things off this afternoon. Who would you like to thank for such a great performance out there on the racetrack?
Well, I always like to thank my wife for letting me do this, but also my teammates, William Conley, Jordan Crider, and Chris Getz. Couldn't do it without them.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, congrats on the third-place run here tonight. And as he said, man, hopefully a few more times seeing you up here in the broadcast booth, and maybe one of these races seeing you squeeze in a win out there on the racetrack as well.
Anything can happen, buddy.
Absolutely. Ben, enjoy the rest of your night, and congrats again on that third-place finish.
Thank you, sir.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third-place finisher here this afternoon, Ben Gleason. Ben coming home there in position number 3 here this afternoon in that 66 ride. A heck of a run, heck of a drive there for him, as, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, unfortunately, things moving along quickly here tonight. Not a lot of caution flags, a lot of good, hard green flag racing, and that timer, man, those laps, they clicked off the board in a quick hurry here at Pocono Speedway as these drivers put on a heck of a show for us, man. If you guys enjoyed that racing action, even if you're re-watching the broadcast and you're not watching it live, make sure you guys do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today, and make sure you turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go green flag racing here on Peacemaker Gaming. As the racing action here tonight coming to a close, it's going to commence here, and these drivers are unfortunately going to sit idle here and try to get some practice, trying to get prepped and ready for their next race on Saturday night. Next Saturday, they'll be back in action. We'll be right back up here in the broadcast booth, bringing you all of the green flag racing here with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. But huge thank you to each and every one of these drivers for putting on a great show. Only seeing that one caution flag for incident out there on the speedway, and some non-stop racing action out there on the racetrack. And a huge thank you to everyone else for tuning in. Everyone coming in, showing the love with the likes, the comments, the shares, man. Everyone coming in, showing the love here throughout the evening. Any of the new followers or subscribers, I can't thank you enough for becoming part of the Peacemaker family here today. And we look forward to seeing you guys back in action here tomorrow night. We got a double header tomorrow. 2 big races. The Outcast Racing League at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, and then right around 8 o'clock Eastern Time, we will see the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League back in action tomorrow night as well. So some more amazing racing. You'll see a lot of these drivers in that second broadcast tomorrow evening as well. So make sure you guys tune into that, and we can't wait to see you guys back in the comment section, watching, cheering these guys on, and enjoying the racing action here on Peacemaker Gaming. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Hey guys, my name is Harley with Prestige Enterprises. Not only are we a proud sponsor of the Powerhouse Motorsports, we're also proud to be one of the sponsors for Premier Stock Car Racing League. We provide our services to over 70% of the US, and we have a wide range of services, but our main focuses are custom homes, barn doors and shops, and commercial development. But it doesn't stop there. So pull out your phones and use this QR code on your screen to take a quick look at our website. We can't wait to make your dreams come true. Now that we have helped pay some bills, let's throw it back to you, Aaron.
Strapped in tight, ready, V8, symphony humming, tires screeching, engine screaming, speed demons coming. Gasoline guzzling, straight moving, track bruising, in the premium stock car, never losing. Pit crew wizards, quick as wizards, slick precision. Seconds matter, clock ticking tight decisions. Drafting close, slingshot ghost, high speed ballet. Sipping victory, toast to champ, champagne spray. Fast lanes, checkered flags, racing through the turns. Pedal to the metal, feel the rubber burn. Crowd roars, engines soar, high stakes, high gear. Champions breathe and destiny's near. Grid start, hearts pound, seconds before eruption. Adrenaline and steel, the perfect conjunction. Lap after lap, sweat drips, eyes are fogging. Fame and glory wait for no one's dogging. Tunnel vision, apex hunting, blind to the herd. Opponents tailgating, pace firing absurd. Finally tuned monster, horsepower excel. Steering wheels grip like the gates to hell.